In a small village, a young boy named Anand struggled with his emotions and thoughts. As he grew, he began noticing feelings he didn't quite understand. Attraction, desire, and curiosity stirred within him, creating a storm of emotions that left him feeling restless and troubled. Not knowing where to turn, Anand decided to seek help from the Buddha, known for his deep wisdom and compassion. With a clear heart but a clouded mind, Anand traveled to the monastery where the Buddha taught. Along the way, he couldn't help but wonder if these feelings were wrong. He questioned himself, why can't I control these thoughts? Am I weak? He hoped the Buddha would have the answers. When Anand finally arrived at the monastery, he was greeted with a serene silence. The calmness of the place soothed him, though his worries still lingered. The Buddha noticed Anand and invited him to join him in the garden. Under a large Bodhi tree, Anand felt nervous but began to share his struggle. "Great Buddha," he said, "I am troubled by desires and thoughts that distract me. They make me restless, and I don't know how to control them. I feel as if my mind has a life of its own." The Buddha listened quietly, nodding with understanding. After a moment of reflection, he began his teaching. "Anand," he said gently, "our minds are like wild horses. They often roam freely, and without guidance, they become chaotic. Thoughts and desires are natural, like clouds in the sky. But just as a skilled rider can guide a horse, so too can we learn to guide our minds." Anand's curiosity deepened. "But Buddha, these thoughts come unbidden. How can I control something that appears without my invitation?" The Buddha smiled. "Let me tell you a story. Once, there was a young man who owned a beautiful, spirited horse. This horse would run wherever it pleased, without direction, until the young man learned to tame it. He learned that if he paid attention to the horse and responded calmly, he could guide it gently. Over time, the horse would follow his commands, bringing harmony between them." Anand listened, sensing the wisdom in the story, but still unsure of how it applied to his thoughts. "The mind is like that horse," Buddha continued. "You do not have to control every thought or feeling. Instead, you can learn to guide your mind with patience. Observe your thoughts, but do not follow every one. They are like guests passing through your home. They don't stay forever unless you hold on to them." The boy nodded, pondering the idea. "But Buddha, even when I try to let thoughts pass, they come back. Especially the ones related to desire. They seem powerful." The Buddha gestured toward the still pond nearby. "Anand, look at this pond. When it is calm, it reflects everything clearly. But if you throw a stone, the surface becomes disturbed. This is what happens when we react to thoughts. Our minds become agitated. If we can stay still and let thoughts come and go, our minds will remain clear, like the pond." Curious and eager, Anand asked, "How can I learn to keep my mind calm like the pond?" The Buddha introduced him to the practice of meditation. "Sit comfortably, Anand. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. Notice each breath as it comes and goes, like the gentle ripples on the pond. Do not chase your thoughts or resist them. Simply breathe." Following the Buddha's instructions, Anand closed his eyes and began to breathe deeply. At first his mind wandered, but he remembered Buddha's words and returned to his breath again and again. After some time, he felt a quietness within him that was both new and comforting. When Anand opened his eyes, he felt a sense of peace. The Buddha smiled. "This calmness is always within you, Anand. Just as the pond's surface is naturally still, your mind can be calm when you let go of attachment to your thoughts." Anand felt encouraged, but his questions weren't over. "Buddha, what should I do when desire feels too strong?" The Buddha picked up a candle and lit it, shielding it from the wind. Desire is like a flame. When left exposed, it flickers and can burn anything in its path. But when we guard it with awareness, it can become a steady light. Practice self-control, not by suppressing your thoughts, but by guiding them, just as you would guard this flame. The young boy thought deeply. He realized that he didn't need to fight his desires or judge them. He simply needed to observe them without letting them lead him astray. Over the next few days, Anand practiced the teachings diligently. He observed his thoughts, allowing them to come and go without judgment. He continued to meditate daily, finding a calmness he hadn't known before. He found that as he practiced mindfulness, the intensity of his desires lessened. Instead of reacting, he learned to observe, like watching clouds drift across the sky. One morning, the Buddha approached Anand and asked, "How are you feeling, Anand?" Anand bowed respectfully. "Buddha, I feel more peaceful. I still have thoughts and desires, but I no longer feel controlled by them. I have learned that they are like waves, coming and going. I do not have to follow them." The Buddha's eyes shone with approval. "You have learned well, Anand, but remember, the practice is ongoing. There will be times when desires return strongly, especially in moments of weakness. But by returning to your breath, to your awareness, you can regain peace." Then, as a final lesson, Buddha took Anand to a nearby village where the people were struggling with their daily lives. He encouraged Anand to help them with small acts of kindness, fetching water, helping the elderly, and comforting children. Anand found that by serving others, his mind became occupied with compassion and purpose, leaving little room for the disruptive desires that had once troubled him. Returning to the monastery, Anand felt a newfound sense of fulfillment and joy. He realized that his energy could be directed toward compassion and kindness, bringing him a deeper satisfaction than any fleeting desire could provide. Anand expressed his gratitude to the Buddha, bowing deeply. "Great Buddha, you have taught me that true strength is found in a peaceful mind. I now see that my thoughts are only as powerful as I allow them to be." The Buddha placed a hand on Anand's shoulder. "You have learned the true art of mastery, Anand. Not mastery over thoughts themselves, but mastery over how you respond to them. Remember, peace is found within, in the quiet lake of the mind." With a calm heart and a renewed sense of purpose, Anand departed from the monastery, ready to walk his path with mindfulness and clarity. This story captures the essence of the Buddha's teachings on handling thoughts, especially desires, through observation, mindfulness, and compassion. By channeling his energy into kindness and purpose, Anand learns that lasting peace and fulfillment come from within, through patience and self-awareness.